Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to Lofoten, and a very different Lofoten this year to the conditions we had on last year's trip. Total whiteout and blizzards last year. This year it's about 8 degrees warmer, blue skies, and absolutely flat calm. So it's going to be different this week. Maybe a little challenging at times, but with such a stunning landscape as we have here, I'm sure we'll be able to come up with something. Just before we get going with the photography, I just thought I'd show you a little bit of the accommodation we're at this week. Lovely base here, about 10 minutes from the airport. Anything around the airport, sort of Gravdal, Leknes area is ideal. We found anyway last year for getting to all the spots that we want to get to. And that view across from the back of our house here, you wake up to every day, just unbelievable, to be honest. I look at all these houses around here and they've all just got absolutely jaw-dropping views every day. It must be such a nice place to live, to be honest. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you this as well before I get going with any photography. Now, I might sound like a complete idiot here, but I've not seen these back in the UK. These are like these boot dryer things. Seems like such a common sense idea. But basically when you come in from shooting, you've been in the wet sea or whatever with wellies, you can bung your boots or your wellies under these dryers. They're on like half-hour timers, and you just leave them in there for half an hour and they're bone dry, which is great. So no need for drying rooms or anything, which is ideal for us for this week. So yeah, I guess these will be getting a lot of use. But anyway, I won't give you a big grand tour of the spot. It's a nice base, and really looking forward to getting going this week. As I say, with the clear skies forecast for quite a few days now, we're really praying that we're going to get some aurora, because on last year's trip didn't get to shoot an awful lot of that. So I'm really looking forward to perhaps seeing some of that stuff. So anyway, enough prattling on from me. Let's get to some photography. Right, I hope you don't think I'm introducing you to the start of a snuff film here, but we're out shooting the aurora and it is just wonderful. This is my first experience of shooting the aurora, and it's just been unbelievable, to be honest. We were out last night and we had, I'm reliably informed anyway, a really big show with I think it was about a KP 6 or 7 or something like that. If you're an astro nerd, I'm sure you'll be able to correct me on that. But the colours last night were absolutely tremendous. I didn't do any filming, mainly because obviously with it being my first time shooting that stuff, I wanted to really just knuckle down on the photography. So the video took a back seat. But what I'll do at the end of this little sequence is show you some of the images that I took last night, as well as the ones that I'm taking here. Now, I can't really show you a lot of B-roll footage around this shot, as you can probably tell. But the shot I'm taking, well, the shot I took before that time lapse that I'm doing at the minute, was this shot of some, dilapidated fishing racks, which make great foreground interest here. Some of them are still standing up and some of them have fallen down. So yeah, make a really interesting foreground subject, and then we've got the distant mountains with this tremendous aurora going off behind it. So what I've been doing is just playing around with shutter speeds. Most of the exposures that you'll see for the sky have been taken at about between 6 and 10 seconds. I'm only using an f4 lens. Now, hopefully you'll see from the results here that while obviously it's better to have an f2.8 lens for this stuff, it's not impossible to shoot astro with an f4 lens, especially when it's bright enough like this. So yeah, this one I think really works. But I was also shooting another shot earlier on, which myself and Dem actually came out and scoped out earlier today at sunset with the intention of coming back here. I'm glad I did, because that composition I shot earlier, it lined up absolutely perfect for the aurora this evening. It was much stronger than it is now, although it's still pretty good at the moment. Lovely rock pool, and then we had the aurora just arching over the top of the frame, and it was just absolutely perfectly placed. I couldn't have wished for it to have gone any better, really. Yeah, I'll get back to shooting this aurora because it's just tremendous, and I really don't want to miss it waffling to the cameras. So here's the images, here's some video, and I'll join you at the next location. I don't know where that's going to be on this trip, but we'll have to see. So anyway, here's the images. Right, folks, a brief interlude from the landscape photography, because we're going to do a bit of tourism here, tourist activities rather. So we've come to this drying racks for the fish heads. This is a bit of a sort of popular thing to do when you come to Lofoten. These fish heads, I was doing a bit of research on them last night. Apparently they're exported to West Africa, and they're salted up and they end up going in, I think, soups and broths and stuff like that. Now, most of the fish racks that we've driven past have been empty, but this one, we were doing a little bit of recceing for next year's workshops, and stumbled upon this one. Now, Dem has got a plan here for a shot. He's imagining some sort of Picasso, Salvador Dali masterpiece where you've got all these fish heads here, and you've got hundreds of thousands of eyes, and whether what he's got in his head he can get out onto the camera will work or not, I don't know, but we'll just go and have a little explore in here. Now, I don't want to be in here too long because there's bits of the stuff out of these fish heads dripping down. I don't really want it on me, but Dem has already bravely gone in there to get set up. So I'll just swing you around, and we'll go and have a little investigate. Now I'm having to dip down quite low here. Here's Dem in here. Dem, this better be worth it. Right, Dem, I'll give you the mic. Right, Dem, do you want to talk us through what you're doing here? Or what you've got in your head as an idea?
If I'm honest, I'm not sure what I'm completely doing here, but the idea is to create some sort of Salvador Dali / MC Escher masterpiece, a bit like when you look up at the Sistine Chapel, you see those paintings with hundreds of people and lots of eyes and body parts, and you just don't know what's going on. And I don't really know what's going on here. It's difficult to shoot because it's going to be a focus stack. I'm getting in really, really close. These little buggers are moving. I'm having to stand with my head practically in the fish, which is not very nice. Every now and then, when I've been walking around here, wrecking it, you see little drips from the drying fish. I don't want a drip to go down my neck. It feels like I'm walking through one of those games in the Saw series movies. Essentially, I want to get my shot done and get out of here and hope that it works. The last thought in all seriousness is I've got to try and find somewhere where these things aren't moving, the light's low. It's going to be very difficult to put together a focus stacked macro type image when there's a little bit of movement.
Can we see what's in the camera? Let's have a look.
Go for it. Check it out. That's close to. I want more eyes though. And
I want more eyes.
Yeah, I want more eyes and different fish looking in a different direction. You just got done by the fish, I see.
I've got to show one of these fish heads close up. There we go. I mean, yeah. Give us a line.
So there we go. I think this is done. Give one or two another go.
So this really is probably someone's worst nightmare, really, to be honest. Because I do, like Dem says, I do feel like I'm in some sort of Saw film / Hostel or something like that. And someone's going to come out from one of these and stab me in the back or something. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here before anything drops on my head and I start stinking of fish. I'm sure Dem's going to be popular in the house later on and he's probably going to need about 3 showers. But if his image is any good at the end of this, well, scrap that. We're going to show it anyway, regardless of it, whether it's any good or not. And we'll join you at the next spot where hopefully there's some more landscape photography and less fish heads. Right, folks, before I go any further here, I must say sorry to Dem, who's been with me on this trip. We dropped Dem off at the airport about an hour ago, and before we did, we were at this location earlier, absolutely caked in fog. I think it's an inversion that's covering the entire area. And we were cursing that we couldn't see the top of the mountains because some of these ice cracks leading into a bit of mist and then maybe some of the mountaintop in the distance would have been really nice. Had to drop Dem off at the airport an hour ago. I've come back up here on the off chance it might clear, and sure enough, it's pretty perfect now. So Dem, I apologise if you're watching this. I've had to literally run down the rocky bank here. It's not the easiest to get down, and not the best when you're trying to rush to get the best of this mist. Now it's starting to dissipate a little now, but I did manage to get a shot quickly while the best of it was rolling across. Also, one thing I had to consider there was the sort of blank blue area in the top left of the sky. I was just rushing there to try and get the shot while there was a bit of cloud filling that area in. That's also started to dissipate a little bit, so I was glad I got this shot quickly. But just to kind of talk you through the kind of technical aspects of this, wide angle, what are we, about 18, 19 mil, something like that. We've got these gorgeous zigzags leading off into the distance there. Big mountain peak, and then a nice bit of late evening light in the top left. Can't really ask for much more than that, to be honest. As I say, I've had a bit of a rush here to grab this shot. So I am going to just head along the shoreline here and see if I can find something else, and then possibly put the drone up as well, because I was shooting here earlier in the week and doing a lot of top-down stuff, and there's some absolutely fantastic patterns and shapes to work with here. So I'm going to just watch what the clouds are doing here and take a couple more and see if I can improve on this first composition. But anyway, here's the shot on the screen. Let me know what you think. Okay, I think I've found shot number 2. Now the mist has dissipated completely now, which is not a problem because I can see the top of the mountain, which is the main thing. I haven't had to go far to find the next composition, but before I do, I just want to draw your attention to something to my left here. Now, before we came to Lofoten, Dem actually shared a story from a shall remain nameless photographer from Italy, I believe, on Instagram at this location, and they were throwing rocks out onto the ice to crack it. Now, you'd think that would be fairly harmless enough until you see the mess that they've left. Yeah, as you can tell. There's a saying in wild camping, leave no trace, and when you're doing landscape photography, especially in locations like this where there's likely to be other photographers, try and use that or apply that same principle here, because there's some lovely compositions over there that I would have liked to have tried to shoot, but they're completely ruined now because of mindless photographers just cluttering the landscape with whatever they need to do to get the shot, which is totally wrong. So yeah, if you're in a place like this and you're thinking of chucking random rocks onto the ice to make nice shapes, please don't, because you spoil it for other people. Anyway, onto this shot. Now, I've just got to be a bit careful here because I'm just going over some boulders. I'll just spin you around. Now, this is basically a variation on the same shot that I've just taken. You can see here these lovely shapes in the ice, and it really is just a case of lining these up with that pointy peak there in the distance. You can drive yourself silly looking at these cracks, to be honest, because there's so many of them. If you like big foreground portrait landscapes, this is absolute heaven for you. I can take or leave them sometimes, but when you've got foregrounds like this, And I think I did an earlier video on this about this time last year, talking about foregrounds, and they have to be interesting. These are certainly interesting, so I don't mind shooting them. So very similar settings again. I think it's about 19mm, focused a third of the way in. Case polarizer on for the sky. Now I'm gonna just hang around here and just to see if this sky colours up a little bit. It's very low cloud, so I don't really anticipate it doing that, but we are getting a little hint of warmth there. So it's just adding a little bit of colour contrast to a very sort of blue scene, really. But yeah, not a lot more to say about this. It's very similar to the first one, but when in Rome and all that, it's certainly worth taking. So here's the shot on the screen. Let me know what you think. Right, I think that's probably enough wide-angle portrait foregrounds for one day. I mean, you can just keep going on and on up this shoreline here and finding endless compositions like that. But yeah, as I was saying before, you can drive yourself a little mad looking at them. I've probably had the best of the light now, so I'll stick at 2 for today. But I can't say I won't be back here at some point in the rest of the trip, although I won't video it. But yeah, I've got the drone out now because, as I say, I was here a couple of days ago and doing a lot of drone work. I didn't do any video around it, but the shapes and the patterns here are absolutely phenomenal. And really, this is exactly what a drone should be used for. Even as an experienced photographer, I'm guilty of forgetting to use the drone for stills. I use it obviously for these YouTube videos, but I keep forgetting to use it for photography. Now this is the place to do it. As much as I love these big wide angle foregrounds here, there is a nagging feeling that you need to be a little higher up. Now I can go up the bank, but then you lose the impact of the foreground, so it doesn't quite work. So as I said, this is an ideal case to use the drone. I've just been taking shots further out on the lake like this one. Got to compose them exactly the same way. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking just because it's a drone, you don't quite pay enough as much attention to those shots as you would with the stills, but I'm really concentrating on getting the framing just right here. This one I've got framed up, just unbelievable shapes. You come back here each day and things have refrozen and then there's different cracks emerge and there's just always something different to photograph. So I think what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of the best shots that I've got from this place over the last couple of days, and then I'll catch you in part 2 of this vlog. Hope you've enjoyed this. Keep liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.